All right, guys, welcome in. All right, let's get started. Welcome in, Moose with the box. Yeah, LSU beat Grambling 22-6. Okay, yeah, I mean that was as thoroughly a dismantling as you will see in Division I baseball. Is there really anything you got a lot? I We looked at it in the preview. Um Grambling had an ERA as a team over 8. They had more hits than innings pitched as a staff. Um, you knew LSU was going to score at will tonight, and they did. I mean, LSU had a 13-run fourth inning. LSU had a 7-run second. They threatened the program record of 29 runs. They only left 4 guys on base. They hit 5 homers. Jake Brown had 4 RBI off the bench. Tommy White had 5. Those two guys combined to drive in 9 runs. The 5 RBI for Tommy White was a season high. You hit 5 more home runs. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different players had at least one hit for LSU tonight. I mean, it was an offensive onslaught against an inferior opponent. That's exactly what you want to see in that situation. But is there anything tangible that you can actually take from that offensive performance? No. No, because Grambling is not good. I mean, we see this every time this matchup happens. LSU has never lost to Grambling. They are undefeated. And if I'm being quite honest, I would like to see this series not be played anymore. There's so many other teams, and I don't mean that to be, disrespectful in any way. This is just a complete mismatch. There's nothing there. Play ULM, play Tulane, play Lamar, play Southern Miss, play South Alabama, play anyone. Man, that's ugly. Like, that was ugly tonight. In every phase. Now, if I'm actually looking for the slightest tangible takeaway from this game, it's on the mound. And that's really what I wanted to see in general, was LSU pitch well again, because that's what we focused in on. They focused in on it plenty on the broadcast, but y'all know, if y'all have been sitting here listening to me or joining me for this show for, it really the last 2.5 weeks, it has been a lot of LSU starting to show improvement on the mound. And can they keep that going? And they did tonight. And you saw a couple guys that you hadn't seen in a while get out there and do some really good things. Javen Coleman is one of them. I look at Javen Coleman, and I wonder, okay, can he follow in the footsteps of a guy like Christian Little or a guy like Justin Lure, where it looks like they're starting to come around? Like, Christian Little has 7 straight scoreless innings and has looked dominant in those 7 straight scoreless innings. Justin Lure had a really nice outing over the weekend. That was very encouraging. You hadn't seen Javen Coleman in a while. Could he kind of follow up that? He did. And the one thing I will say that was encouraging from Coleman is when you think about when he has struggled this year, it has been because of walks. Javen Coleman, he did have 1 walk in 2 innings, but overall, 20 pitches, 13 strikes. He was much more in the zone. That is something you want to see from him. Can he build on that going forward? Hopefully. That's just another good step in the right direction for the LSU pitching staff. Thatcher Hurd followed up another good outing. That's impressive. He struck out 2. That's awesome. Fidel Ulloa is somebody they absolutely want to talk about. Y'all, we hyped him up so much in the preseason and the pre-conference, and for good reason. Like, he was extremely, extremely effective when they put him in there, and they used him in a lot of high leverage spots and all of that, and he executed. When he got into SEC play, it wasn't great. The velocity had dipped. Like, when you saw Ulloa in the preseason, when you saw him early on in the pre-conference, he was 95, 96 just sitting comfortably, like consistently and comfortably. And then in the early part of SEC play, it was a lot of, 91, 93. He was back up to 95, 96 consistently tonight, and he looked dominant, and that was awesome. Struck out the side in the only inning that he faced, and then you split the ninth between Primo, Woods, and Bronzini, and they all got an out, and you wrapped it up. But I mean, when I look at a guy like Coleman throwing strikes when he struggled to do that this year, I find that very encouraging. When I look at a guy like Hurd following up 2 good outings with another one, that's encouraging. We'll see if he can keep building on that. They're going to keep him in the bullpen and probably at the back end. And then when I look at Ulloa to see the velocity return, that is encouraging. I mean, overall tonight, LSU threw 109 pitches and 74 strikes. That's awesome. Like that is what you want. You only gave up the 2 runs, walked 1, and struck out 10. That's a dominant performance on the mound. And for that, that's what I wanted to see. Like that is the one thing. That is the one thing I wanted to see in this ball game tonight was LSU pitch well. They did. Whatever you did offensively, great. I mean, LSU was walked 9 times and they were hit 4 times. Grambling had a kid out there throwing 54. Like, bless his heart. He was throwing 54. I didn't even know that would make it to the plate, y'all. There's an Ephus, and then there's this kid throwing 54. So, cool. You racked up a bunch of runs, and yeah, everybody played. I mean, Joseph Lee said, how many guys played tonight? The whole team? Pretty darn close, man. Pretty darn close. I mean, I can tell you how many guys. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 guys had an at-bat. And 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 total when you count the pitchers. So, yeah, half your team. Like, at least half your team played between position players and pitching. It's just, you played clean defense. That was great. That's a very hard game to just, get through. It really is. But they did it, and they won it, and they won it convincingly, and that's great. Who just brought up the Gavin Guidry double? Yes, Zachary Cavalier. Guidry with the double. Man, that was great to see. Wasn't it? That was awesome. Gavin Guidry got an at-bat. That was his first at-bat since, I meant to look this up, and I didn't. He was 1 for 7 last season, but I can't remember when his last AB was. Here, hold on. I'll get it. We can get that right now, real time. If y'all want to get some more questions into the chat, please do. It can be about whatever. If you want something answered about tonight, we can do that. If you want it to be more towards this weekend coming up, we can absolutely do that. I don't really have much more to say in terms of a recap of that. I mean, LSU beat a SWAC team 26-2. I mean, okay. Let's see. Guidry's last AB before tonight said he was 1 for 7 last season. His last at bat was on March 28th, 2023 against Grambling. That was Gavin Guidry's last at bat. March 28th, 2023 against Grambling. How about that? And then he comes full circle there on April 29th. On April 29th, 2024, hits the double against Grambling. All right, keep the questions kind. Let's keep the questions kind. Not insulting to the opponent. They've suffered enough tonight. Alex G. Musso, percentage chance LSU makes a regional. That's a good question. You know what? Let's see. We've gone through this scenario plenty. I mean, this weekend's obviously going to be huge. LSU cannot get swept. If they want to keep their postseason hopes tangible, they cannot get swept this weekend. I would say right now. So if you win one game here and you take 2 out of 3 from Bama, 2 out of 3 from Ole Miss, maybe you steal a sweep against Ole Miss, but I just can't see this LSU team sweeping anybody right now. So let's say you win one against A&M, you go 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. That'll put you at 12-18 in the league. You'd need to win a couple games in Hoover, at least one to get to 13. Your RPI would be pretty good. And at that point, you would be in. Now, how likely is that? Right now, I would give LSU. I'll put it at 40%. I'll put it at 40% that LSU makes a regional right now. If they do, they're going to be a 3 seed anyway, unless they just go on some insane tear. But right now, just because this weekend is so big, I'll put it at 40% for LSU. Dylan Hess, any word on Chase Shores' rehab? I know he's not likely to pitch this year, but I saw him in uniform last weekend. Yeah, he's throwing. He's throwing. He's probably just crossed the 1-year threshold. So he's probably just 12 months or so removed from surgery, maybe a little after that. It was the Tennessee series last year when he got hurt, and that was early April, like late May, early April. I think that was actually, late March, early April. I think that weekend was actually like March 30th through April 2nd or something like that. So he, 18 months is when you have no restrictions. He's probably just past 12 months. So no, he was never going to pitch this year. They weren't going to rush him back, nor should they. Look, you'll let him go through. He should be full go, ready to go for preseason ball next year and ready to go for the season. So think along the lines of like jump or something like that. But I mean, he's throwing. Zachary Cavalier, word on Jaden Newt. Jaden Newt's fine. Like, he's throwing. I was hoping to see him tonight. Unfortunately, you scored 26 runs. You're going to rule that team, and your opportunities were going to be limited. But yeah, I was hoping to see him tonight. He's been throwing bullpens. By all accounts, it's been good. Hopefully, maybe you can get him in against Northwestern State in a week or so there and get that going. Joseph Lee is Shores draft eligible? No, he is not a draft eligible sophomore. He will be draft eligible as a junior. So I mean, like next year when he's healthy, that'll be his money. So I mean, that'll be a very important thing. Joseph Lee also asked Jake Brown more playing time. I don't know, man. I like that. That's asking me to take something from tonight. And I mean, it was great to see Jake Brown go yard. It was great to see him drive in 4 runs. There's a big difference between facing Grambling and potentially throwing him in there against Texas A&M. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I'm all for getting him some at bats. But I don't know if you can actually. If I actually will look at that and be like, yeah, I'm gonna get more playing time off of his performance against Grambling. Let's see here. Boy, y'all really didn't like that 40%, huh? Y'all really didn't like that 40%. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I can explain my thinking behind that. LSU has not gotten swept at home yet this year, even against Florida, even against Vanderbilt. So I think you take one, like you can take one from A&M. That would get you to 8 conference wins. If you continue on this track, you can go to Alabama and win 2 out of 3. Like, you can. That is a thing that can happen, which that would put you at 10 wins. Ole Miss is dreadful. You get that at home. You should win that series at minimum. That would get you to 12. If you get to 13, going through that with the number of top 50 RPI wins that you will have, playing another quad 1 game on a neutral site, which counts for more in the SEC tournament, yeah, you're going to be in. So that's where I arrive at the 40. Like, I believe, and to be fair, in my original assessment, I had LSU losing 2 out of 3 at Alabama. I think, as of right now, this could change, that they will win that series. So that ups it to 40%. Now, again, that's right now. That's in this moment that I think that. Let's see what happens this weekend. If LSU falls on their face and they get swept, the conversation will be dramatically different, because that puts the math in an almost unattainable spot for LSU. It definitely does from a regular season standpoint, but almost like unattainable just in general. You're gonna have to go deep in the SEC tournament if you get swept this weekend. So, uh, we'll see that. Yes, Timothy Cannon. A&M also took Vanderbilt to school. They did. They also lost 2 out of 3 to Florida. It's baseball. A&M's really good. A&M's going to score a lot of runs this weekend when they face LSU, and LSU's not going to be able to keep up. The hope is you have a great outing from one of your starters, and you follow it up with Griffin Herring, and you hold them down a little bit. Like that. That is the hope. That's your path to winning. LSU. I don't see really a path to them winning this series unless they just play their best games of the year, and I mean it would have to be their best games of the year. But it's baseball. I mean, it's crazy. It's a wacky, stupid sport. I mean, uh, it's a sport where Fresno State can win a national championship as a 4 seed in a regional. It's a sport where Stony Brook can come in here and Willie Carmona can hit doubles off the wall all weekend long, and they can beat LSU and go to Omaha and then get cooked. So I mean, yeah, anything can happen, but you can also still look at things and say they're not likely. LSU taking 2 out of 3 from A&M is not likely. Timothy Cannon, Moose, what's the best Lynn Rollins call this year? Wow, LSU won 26-2 win. Timothy, that's not a great question for me because the only games I really see on TV are home games, I should say, or the midweeks. So I'd have to really think. I mean, the clean Kong stuff earlier in the year was great. Lynn loves the clean Kong. I'll tell you what I like from Lynn. I like when he tells you what color the sky is. That's one of my favorites. The sky's the color of a robin's egg or whatnot. That's what I like from Lynn. Those are my favorites. Zachary Cavalier, think Cade Anderson starts again on Sunday. His line was worse, way worse than how he pitched. Yes, it was, and we talked about that, but no, I don't. I think what you could, and this is depending on recovery from Ackenhausen. I think it depends on what happens with Ackenhausen because he has got a hamstring. Jay sounded very just unworried, like not worried at all about that in the post game on Saturday. But I would imagine Ack still needs a few days to really feel right. I'm not saying he can pitch this week. This is purely speculation. I actually hate doing that on injuries. But I'm also not going to say he can't pitch this weekend. So like if he's available and you haven't used him the first 2 days, I think that's what they're going to do. I don't know. I just don't think you are. I just don't think you go down that road again. Maybe they do. I don't know because I mean, Cade got victimized by a few things, but having him face that lineup with how much he has struggled, regardless of the last outing, how much he has struggled in SEC play, it's just not going to be. That's just not going to be a recipe for success. I don't think. I think Cade Anderson has a great future. I think he will have a great future, and I'm ready. I can't wait to watch him do that. So we'll see. But my focus for LSU this weekend is to get one. I know that's not a popular opinion. I know y'all don't totally believe the whole scenario that I've laid out for them to get to the postseason, but that is we see it every year. There are benchmarks you have to hit to get there, and LSU can still hit benchmarks. And one of those is 13 or 14 wins in the league, and you can get to that still. You just have to continue to improve. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying there is the path. That is there, and it would not surprise me if they did it. It would not surprise me if they didn't do it. We'll see. We'll see how they go. Y'all smash the like button if you have not already. Lynn Rollins said that Jared Jones had a Chinese spy balloon. When was that? That had to have been last year, huh? That is good. That's strong. Like, that's a strong call. Lynn's y'all, he's great. Y'all smash the like button, get subscribed if you have not already. We got 20 minutes out of tonight off of that off of a 26-2 win over Grambling. I owe y'all a big assist. A lot of it was the questions. Thank y'all for the interaction. Thank y'all for the questions. That's part of what makes this a lot of fun. So y'all get subscribed if you haven't already, and we'll be back next time on Moose.